Now, if last episode did anything besides, hand out some more than questionable punishments, it was bring about this idea of change. This idea that, while still unlikely, and as you can tell I'm not completely sold on this yet, Melromarc and all of its people will be able to see the shield hero the way they see the bow, spear, and sword heroes. Amongst other things, as this whole human supremacy thing Melromarc has going on is also getting pretty sketch. And of course, we have the threat that the waves themselves bring. So basically, in my eyes, Melromarc has its ways to go before it's this ideal country. Now, the reason why all that is so questionable to me is because obviously, despite her name change, Mine is still able to at least try and influence Naofumi's journey in negative ways. It hasn't even been an episode since she's been renamed and whatnot, and she's already been caught scheming, and a fight was started simply because one person opposed Naofumi, and Raphtalia, being the best waifu that she is, supported him. Now, of course, this is my first time experiencing this story in any form, so I don't know if Mine getting caught trying to harm Naofumi will be a sort of running gag or something. But I don't know, I just think it would be a lot better if we felt the effects from the punishments that were given to Mine and Altcray. Which, as it was brought to my attention, was more than just the name change and the removal of their royal titles. But don't get me wrong, while the people of Melromarc change their minds about things so easily, I did not expect everybody to love Naofumi immediately. Even though everything was disproven, even though Naofumi is cleared, I know there will always be some douchebag who refuses to accept the truth, but that's not really my concern. My concern lies more with the fact that maybe Mine, more so than Altcray, because I doubt we'll be seeing more of him anytime soon, got off a little too easy. Like chop a bitch's leg off. I'm sure Morelia wouldn't be completely opposed to that. Anyway, Mine and Co aren't the only ones that are actively keeping this change from happening, as our cardinal heroes are still struggling to cooperate, surprisingly. I don't know, it just drives me insane how these four still refuse to cooperate for longer than 5 minutes. They just need to learn to trust each other. Both Vittoria and Morelia have basically said that it's impossible to bring about the end of the waves unless these four learn to have faith in one another. Though, as much as I hate seeing these four not trust in each other, I also can't really blame them if they are each giving each other information that is true to them but false for the other three. I can at least somewhat understand how that may be misleading. And this brings me to what I found to be the most interesting aspect of this episode. Towards the end, when Naofumi unlocks the copy mechanic, it feels like the series is trying to suggest that there are some things that you just simply have to believe in order to gain the use of. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a slight callback to episode 1, in which, if you recall, we learned that our 4 cardinal heroes are not only from different versions of Japan, but each of them have experienced MMORPGs differently by playing different games. I wouldn't be surprised if the mechanics that Motoyasu, Ren, and Itsuki mentioned were all mechanics that were in the game they played back in their home. Except Naofumi, because if I do recall correctly, he is, out of the 4 heroes, the one with the least amount of experience when it comes to playing these types of games. But again, as I'll discuss soon, maybe that's a plus. The suggestion is that one must simply believe in order to gain access to these mechanics, but each of our heroes believe different things. And when we have heroes that are as stubborn, prideful, and narrow-minded as the ones that we do have, believing in anything other than what is in front of them is rather difficult. This is again where Naofumi's previous lack of experience with MMORPGs comes into play and proves to be helpful rather than a hindrance. Naofumi casually having nothing to go off of himself, having no preconceived notion on these types of things, what's wrong or right, is open to believing each of the ideas the other three cardinal heroes presented. Itsuki, based off his experience, values weapon rarity. Ren, based off his, values a weapon's potency and proficiency. And Motoyasu values refinement and stats. And if you told me that each of these three airheads have only been focusing on the fields that they each respectively value, I would absolutely, no questions asked, believe you. And that's where trust and faith comes into play once again. These guys are letting their pride get in the way of them becoming the best heroes they can be. I mean, look at these two. They look like they get along fine and are absolutely kicking ass during the OP. The guy's got a scythe, for fuck's sake. He has to be badass. It's a rule in anime. Scythe equals bad motherfucker. But seriously, at least this explains why Naofumi and his party are so strong. Naofumi not having any bias towards either weapon rarity, weapon proficiency, or stats means that he can equally care about all of them. And I absolutely love that, because if there's one aspect of the series that is absolutely going to continue to fly over my head, it's everything having to do with unlocks and stats increases. Stats, just fucking stats. Like, I've seen long threads of light novel readers explaining all of the unlocks and whatnot, and all that's done is make me regret not getting into MMORPGs sooner. But, I'll just assume they make sense. The important thing here, though, is to acknowledge the fact that Naofumi will not leave Melromarc until all the members of his harem are safe and happy. And that we get Raphtalia in a swimsuit next episode. But hey, these are my thoughts, and I'm curious to read yours. If you're an anime only, let me know your thoughts on this episode and any predictions you may have. How do you think this Calmira Archipelago thing is gonna go? And do you think it will present our heroes with a chance to work together and begin building that trust between heroes that is so important for this world and its survival of the waves? And if you read the manga or the light novel, let me know how you felt Kinema Citrus adapted this episode, and what parts do you think they could have done a better job with, if any. And feel free to discuss anything I forgot to mention in the comments below. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, it helps the channel out a lot. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter, link in the description. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that bell, that way you don't miss a video and can continue watching the Rising of the Shield Hero and many other series with me. Apologies for the tardiness of this video. I know, Swimsuit Raphtalia is out by the time this video will go public, but shit happens. I wasn't feeling my writing, and I'm not gonna force stuff just to make sure I get this discussion up at peak hype time. It's just not my thing, B. But I thank you not rushing me, and hopefully understanding where I'm coming from. And with that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.